Kawhi Leonard and I have been working together for quite a while now, so it's always a pleasure. LeBron James might smile for the cameras when talking about Kawhi Leonard, but behind closed doors, it's a different story. Reports say LeBron confronted him directly over the $28 million fraud scheme. This scandal doesn't just threaten Kawhi. It threatens LeBron's legacy and shakes the foundation of the NBA forever. Let me break it down. Kawhi's silent payday. On September 3rd, 2025, journalist Pablo Torre released a bombshell report that shook the NBA, alleging that Kawhi Leonard was involved in a $28 million sham endorsement deal tied to Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. Almost immediately, it was viewed as the smoking gun in one of the biggest financial scandals the league has ever faced. We're talking about a secretive contract, a bankrupt Green Bank exposed as a massive fraud, and millions funneled Kawhi through a company directly linked to Ballmer. With the FBI circling, the DOJ handing down indictments, and the NBA bringing in outside counsel, LeBron James couldn't stay silent any longer. The confrontation was personal, heated, and raised one unavoidable question. Did Kawhi Leonard cheat the system? And did the Clippers help him do it? Here's the bombshell. According to bankruptcy filings, investigative documents, and testimony from former employees, Kawhi Leonard signed a $28 million no-show job contract with a company called Aspiration, a contract insiders allege was designed specifically to circumvent the NBA salary cap. And what makes this even more shocking? Kawhi never publicly mentioned Aspiration. Not once. Not in an interview, not on Instagram, not even a casual tag. 0. The total number of times Kawhi Leonard publicly referenced Aspiration? 0. While Leonardo DiCaprio, Robert Downey Jr., Drake, and other celebrities actively promoted Aspiration, Kawhi pocketed more money than all of them without lifting a finger. And that, folks, is what has LeBron James furious. This isn't just about one player cashing a shady check. This is about fairness, legacy, and whether the NBA's rules mean anything when billionaire owners and reclusive superstars can invent shell companies to shuffle money in the shadows. The story behind Aspiration. The story doesn't start with Kawhi Leonard. It starts with Aspiration Incorporated, a fintech startup that marketed itself as a green bank. Founded in 2013 by Joe Sandberg and Andre Cherney, two Democratic operatives with deep political ties, Aspiration claimed it could save the planet through tree planting programs and carbon-neutral credit cards. The pitch was seductive. Spend money with Aspiration, and they would plant trees in your name, balancing your carbon footprint. Celebrities loved it. Leonardo DiCaprio invested. Robert Downey Jr. voiced ad campaigns. Even Drake endorsed it. At its peak, Aspiration raised nearly $600 million and was valued at $2.3 billion. But behind the glossy ads and environmental slogans was something much darker. Prosecutors now say Aspiration was a full-on fraud operation, a Ponzi-like scheme that lied to investors, forged documents, and siphoned hundreds of millions into the pockets of its founders. By early 2025, the company had collapsed into bankruptcy, leaving investors like Steve Ballmer holding worthless paper. Kawhi enters the story. According to documents obtained by Pablo Torre, Aspiration quietly signed a 4-year, $28 million contract with Leonard in April 2022. The agreement was run through Kawhi's personal shell company, KL2 Aspire LLC, and negotiated by his uncle and business manager, Dennis Robertson. The terms were outrageous. Kawhi would receive $7 million per year. In return, he was supposed to promote Aspiration, but the contract gave him exclusive control over all content. He could literally choose to do nothing, which is exactly what he did. Every single key performance indicator, KPI, had a clause allowing him to opt out. If he felt something didn't align with him, was too big of an ask, or simply didn't want to post or wear their gear, he didn't have to. To put it in perspective, Leonardo DiCaprio earned $57 million, Robert Downey Jr. $68 million, Drake $5 million, all in exchange for commercials, interviews, posts, and appearances. Kawhi, $28 million. No commercials, no interviews, no posts, nothing. Former Aspiration, employees didn't even try to hide the scam. One finance executive said Kawhi didn't have to do anything. Uncle Dennis demanded payment. It was priority one, crucial to relationships with Ballmer and the Clippers. This is where LeBron's anger comes in. This wasn't just a bad endorsement deal. It was, according to insiders, a carefully engineered way to funnel money to Kawhi outside of his Clippers contract, keeping him happy without blowing up the team's salary cap. While LeBron has spent years battling under the same salary cap restrictions as everyone else, Kawhi and the Clippers may have had a secret backdoor pipeline funded by a fraudulent company and linked directly to the team's billionaire owner. Steve Ballmer personally invested $50 million into Aspiration just weeks before the Clippers announced a $300 million sponsorship deal with the company. Within months, Kawhi's LLC was on the payroll. It looks like a round trip. Ballmer's money goes into Aspiration and out the other side into Kawhi's pockets. Ballmer insists he was conned. He told ESPN, "These were guys who committed fraud. How would I be able? Look, they conned me. I made an investment in these guys thinking it was on the up and up, and they conned me." Rival NBA executives aren't buying it, and neither is LeBron. Sources close to LeBron say he has been simmering ever since Tory's explosive podcast episode dropped in September. When the two finally crossed paths, LeBron confronted Kawhi directly, pressing him on whether he knowingly accepted fraudulent money to stay with the Clippers. What Kawhi said or didn't say in that moment is something we'll unpack later in this series. But the silence spoke volumes. Silence has always been Kawhi's brand. He's famously private, famously quiet. This is a guy who once panicked over losing Wingstop coupons despite earning nearly $100 million. The guy who drove the same gas-guzzling Tahoe for years. The guy's so frugal that even his teammates clown him for it. And yet, this quiet superstar who avoids a spotlight walked away with the single largest celebrity contract Aspiration ever handed out. That contradiction is what LeBron couldn't stomach. The bigger picture. This scandal isn't just about Kawhi, Ballmer, or the Clippers. It's about whether NBA rules mean anything when billions are on the line. If the richest owner in sports can funnel millions to a superstar under the table, and the league looks the other way, then the NBA's entire salary cap is a joke. And here's the kicker. Federal investigators didn't just uncover $28 million. They found a secret side deal worth another $20 million in stock options, pushing Kawhi's total haul to nearly $48 million. The side deal granted Kawhi stock options valued at $20 million. On paper, this nearly doubled his earnings. Coincidence? Or the smoking gun of a carefully orchestrated scheme? The sequence is telling. August 12, 2021. Kawhi signs a 4-year, $176.3 million extension with the Clippers. September 14, 2021. Steve Ballmer wires $50 million into Aspiration. September 27, 2021. Clippers announce a $300 million sponsorship with Aspiration. November 2021. Kawhi's shell company, KL2 Aspire, is quietly formed. April 2022. Kawhi signs a $28 million endorsement deal. Rival NBA executives are furious. One GM told The Athletic, "This does not happen. I've never seen it." Documents show Kawhi's KL2 Aspire LLC listed as a top creditor in Aspiration's bankruptcy filings, owed $7 million in unpaid installments. The deal even included a clause terminating if Kawhi left the Clippers, directly tying his earnings to his status as a Clippers player. This is why LeBron exploded. Sources say he confronted Kawhi during a private off-season workout in Los Angeles. LeBron didn't mince words. He accused Kawhi of taking fraudulent money, accused the Clippers of cheating the system, and demanded an answer. Kawhi's response? Silence. The same silence that defined his career now looks like a shield against accountability. But silence only makes the questions louder. LeBron's confrontation was about the league itself. If owners can set up fake companies to funnel money to players, what's the point of salary cap? The fallout. Aspiration filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in March 2025, listing $500 million in liabilities against $50 million in assets. Investors were wiped out. Employees lost jobs. Environmental nonprofits were stiffed on promised payments. The co-founder, Joe Sandberg, pled guilty to wire fraud and faces up to 40 years in prison. Another board member received 5 years. Prosecutors described the scheme as Ponzi-like, built on forged documents, fake financials, and empty promises. Kawhi has not been charged, and the NBA investigation is ongoing. But the optics are damning. A reclusive superstar, a shady fintech, a billionaire owner, and millions in phantom endorsements. This is being called the biggest NBA controversy since the Tim Donaghy betting scandal in 2007. The NBA has retained Wachtell, Lipton, Rosen, and Katz, the same firm used to investigate Donald Sterling and Robert Sarver. Commissioner Adam Silver has made clear that salary cap circumvention is a cardinal sin. If the Clippers knowingly participated, penalties could include up to $7.5 million in fines, loss of draft picks, executive suspensions, or even voiding Kawhi's contract. For Kawhi, the stakes are personal. The quiet superstar now risks being remembered as the man at the center of the NBA's largest financial scandal. LeBron, on the other hand, becomes something bigger than a player, a conscience, a whistleblower willing to call out not just Kawhi but the system itself. He has carried scrutiny for 20 years, but has never been accused of taking fraudulent money. That's the line. That's why he looked Kawhi in the eye and demanded an answer. This confrontation isn't just about one player. It's about the league's credibility. If other owners copy the scheme, the salary cap becomes meaningless, competition evaporates, and the NBA risks becoming scripted entertainment rather than a true sport. Conclusion: the Kawhi aspiration scandal is ongoing. Investigations continue. Lawsuits are piling up. Adam Silver's next move could reshape the NBA for a generation. But one thing is clear. This is the biggest scandal the league has faced in decades. It's not just Kawhi Leonard on trial. It's the NBA's credibility itself. And for LeBron James, that confrontation was a line in the sand, a warning shot, a moment that would define his legacy. Because in the end, this is not just a story about money. It's a story about trust. And once trust is gone, no amount of silence can bring it back. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the boxes on your screen to watch more similar content.